Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been buzzing around for years, one that sparks debates, fuels self-improvement journeys, and honestly, gets a lot of clicks, the number one trait every alpha male has. Now, before you roll your eyes or think this is just another overhyped video about being loud, aggressive, or flexing in the gym, let me stop you right there. This isn't about stereotypes. This isn't about some outdated cartoonish version of masculinity. We're going to unpack the real, undeniable trait that sets alpha males apart. The one quality that defines their presence, their success, and their ability to lead in any room they walk into. And trust me, it's not what you think it is. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. First off, let's clear the air about what an alpha male actually is. The term gets thrown around like confetti at a wedding, but most people miss the mark. An alpha male isn't the loudest guy in the bar, picking fights to prove a point. He's not the one peacocking with a flashy watch or screaming about his bank account. No, an alpha male is someone who commands respect naturally, not through force or intimidation, but through a quiet, unshakable presence. He's the guy who walks into a room, and without saying a word, people notice. He's the one who leads without needing to announce he's the leader. But what is it about him? What's the secret sauce that makes him stand out? That's what we're here to uncover, and I promise you, it's going to shift how you see yourself and the world around you. Now you might be thinking, is this about confidence, strength, charisma? Those are all great guesses, and yeah, they play a role. But they're not the core. They're not the one trait that everything else hinges on. See, confidence can be faked. Strength can fade. Charisma can come and go depending on the crowd. The number one trait we're talking about is something deeper, something that's built into the DNA of every true alpha male, whether he's a CEO, a firefighter, or just the guy next door who everyone trusts in a crisis. This trait is what makes all those other qualities stick. It's the foundation, the bedrock, the thing that holds it all together. Let's start by painting a picture. Imagine a high-stakes meeting. The room is tense, deadlines are looming, and everyone's on edge. There's a guy at the table, not the loudest, not the one slamming his fist or shouting ideas. But when he speaks, everyone listens. His words carry weight. People lean in. Even the boss, who's usually a control freak, nods along. Why? Because this guy has something that cuts through the noise. Or think about a different scenario. A group of friends at a bar, joking around when a situation starts to escalate. Some drunk guy's getting aggressive, and the vibe shifts. Most people freeze or back off, but one dude steps up, not with bravado, but with calm authority. He diffuses the situation without throwing a punch. Again, why? What's going on here? The answer lies in a single trait, self-mastery. That's right, the number one trait every alpha male has is self-mastery. Now, before you click away thinking, what does that even mean? Hear me out. Self-mastery isn't some mystical, unattainable guru nonsense. It's not about meditating on a mountain for 40 years or suppressing every emotion. Self-mastery is the ability to control your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, so that you can navigate the outer world with clarity and purpose. It's about being the captain of your own ship, no matter how stormy the seas get. Now let me tell you, every alpha male you admire, from historical figures like Marcus Aurelius to modern-day icons, has this trait in spades. Think about it. What separates the alpha from the guy who's just loud or trying too hard? It's the ability to stay calm under pressure. It's the discipline to stick to a goal when everyone else quits. It's the emotional intelligence to read a room and act with intention, not just react like a loose cannon. Self-mastery is what lets an alpha male walk through chaos without losing his cool. It's what makes him reliable, respected, and frankly magnetic. And the best part, it's not something you're born with. It's something you build day by day, choice by choice. Let's break this down a bit. Self-mastery starts with self-awareness. You can't control what you don't understand, right? An alpha male knows himself inside and out. He's honest about his strengths, but he's also brutally honest about his weaknesses. He doesn't shy away from them or pretend they don't exist. Instead, he faces them head on. Maybe he's got a short temper, okay? He acknowledges it and works on it. Maybe he struggles with procrastination. He doesn't make excuses. He builds systems to stay on track. This kind of self-awareness is rare. Most people go through life on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes their way. blaming everyone else for their problems. The alpha male doesn't do that. He looks in the mirror and owns his shasht, but self-awareness is just the first step. The real magic happens when you take that awareness and turn it into action. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the backbone of self-mastery. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. An alpha male doesn't just want to be better, he does the work to get there. He wakes up early, even when he doesn't feel like it. He hits the gym, even when he's tired. He says no to distractions, even when they're tempting. Why? Because he's playing the long game. He knows that small, consistent choices compound over time, and that's how you build a life of impact. Let's talk about emotions for a second, because this is where a lot of guys get tripped up. There's this myth that alpha males are these stoic, emotionless robots who never feel fear, sadness, or doubt. That's nonsense. Every human feels those things. The difference is, an alpha male doesn't let his emotions run the show. He feels the fear but acts anyway. He feels the anger but doesn't lash out. He feels the doubt but pushes through. This isn't about suppressing emotions. That's unhealthy and unsustainable. It's about managing them. It's about recognizing when you're pissed off, taking a breath, and choosing how to respond instead of just exploding. That's self-mastery in action. Now you might be wondering, okay, this sounds great, but how does this make someone an alpha? Good question. Let's connect the dots. When you have self-mastery, you project a kind of quiet confidence that's impossible to fake. People can sense it. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. You're certain in who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of. That certainty makes you a natural leader, because people gravitate towards someone who's steady in a storm. It makes you resilient because setbacks don't break you. They're just data to learn from. And it makes you magnetic because there's something undeniably attractive about a man who's in control of himself. Let's look at some real-world examples to drive this home. Take someone like Theodore Roosevelt. This guy wasn't born an alpha male. As a kid, he was frail, sickly, and riddled with asthma. Most people would have accepted that as their lot in life, but not Roosevelt. He decided to master himself. He started boxing, lifting weights, and pushing his body to its limits. He faced his fears head-on, whether it was charging up San Juan Hill or taking on corrupt politicians. Roosevelt wasn't perfect. He had his flaws like anyone. But his relentless commitment to self-mastery made him a force of nature. People didn't follow him because he was the loudest or the strongest. They followed him because he was unshakable. Or let's fast forward to someone more modern, like Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, you can't deny the guy's got something special. He's not out there screaming about being an alpha, but look at how he operates. He sets insane goals, building electric cars, colonizing Mars, and then works like a maniac to make them happen. When things go wrong, like when Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy, he doesn't crumble. He doubles down, sleeps on the factory floor, and figures it out. That's self-mastery. It's not about never failing, it's about never letting failure define you. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds like a lot of work, and you're right, it is. Self-mastery isn't a quick fix. It's not a hack you can download in 5 minutes. But here's the thing. It's worth it. Because when you start to master yourself, everything else falls into place. Your relationships get better because you're not projecting your insecurities onto others. Your career takes off because you're the guy who shows up and gets shit done. Your mental health improves because you're not at the mercy of every fleeting emotion. And yeah, your confidence grows because you know you can handle whatever life throws at you. So how do you actually build self-mastery? Let's get practical for a minute. It starts with small intentional choices. Take something as simple as your morning routine. Most people hit snooze, scroll their phones, and stumble into the day like zombies. An alpha male doesn't do that. He sets an alarm and gets up. He starts his day with purpose. Maybe it's a workout, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's just making his bed. The point is, he's training himself to make deliberate choices, even when they're hard. Over time, those choices become habits, and those habits become who you are. Another key is learning to pause. This is huge. When something triggers you, your boss chews you out, your girlfriend picks a fight, someone cuts you off in traffic, your first instinct is to react. That's human nature. But self-mastery is about creating a gap between the trigger and your response. Take a breath. Ask yourself, how do I want to handle this? That pause is where the magic happens. It's where you go from being a slave to your impulses to being the one in control. You also need to get comfortable with discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Want to build discipline? Say no to that extra beer or that late-night Netflix binge. Want to master your emotions? Put yourself in situations that challenge you, like public speaking or having a tough conversation. Want to build resilience? Fail at something and keep going. The alpha male doesn't avoid discomfort. He leans into it because he knows that's where strength is forged. Let's talk about mindset too, because self-mastery is as much mental as it is practical. An alpha male doesn't waste energy on things he can't control. The economy's tanking. He focuses on what he can do to adapt. Someone disrespects him? He doesn't spiral into a rage. He decides whether it's worth his attention. This comes from a mindset of ownership. You can't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. That's power. That's what makes people look at you and think, this guy's got it together. Another piece of the puzzle is surrounding yourself with the right people. You can't master yourself in a vacuum. If you're hanging out with negative, lazy, or toxic people, they'll drag you down. An alpha male seeks out others who challenge him to be better. He's not threatened by successful people. He learns from them. He builds a network of mentors, peers, and friends who push him to level up. And in return, he brings value to their lives because self-mastery isn't selfish. It's about being a force for good. Let's address something else: the haters. When you start working on self-mastery, not everyone's going to cheer you on. Some people, friends, family, even your partner, might feel threatened by your growth. They'll call you obsessed or say you're changing. That's okay. It's not your job to make everyone comfortable. An alpha male stays true to his path, even when it's lonely. He knows that the people who matter will come around, and the ones who don't weren't worth keeping anyway. Now let's flip the script and talk about what self-mastery doesn't look like, because this is where a lot of guys get it wrong. Self-mastery isn't about being perfect. You're going to screw up. You're going to lose your temper, miss a workout, or make a bad call. The difference is you don't let those moments define you. You learn from them and keep moving. It's also not about being a control freak. You can't control everything. Trying to will just make you miserable. Self-mastery is about controlling what you can, your actions, your mindset, your effort, and letting go of the rest. It's also not about being a lone wolf. There's this stereotype that alpha males are these solitary, brooding types who don't need anyone. That's a myth. True alphas build strong relationships. They're loyal friends, supportive partners, and engaged fathers. Self-mastery gives you the clarity to show up fully for the people in your life, because you're not distracted by your own chaos. Let's talk about the long-term payoff, because this is where it gets exciting. When you commit to self-mastery, you're not just improving your life today, you're setting yourself up for a future most people can only dream of. Think about it. The guy who masters himself in his 20s isn't just fit and focused at 30. He's running a business, leading a family, making a difference. The guy who masters himself in his 30s isn't just successful at 40. He's fulfilled because he's living on his terms. Self-mastery compounds, just like interest in a bank account. Every choice you make today pays dividends down the road. But here's the flip side. If you don't work on this, life will chew you up. The world doesn't care about your potential. It rewards the people who show up day after day and do the work. If you let your emotions, habits, or excuses run the show, you'll wake up in 10 years wondering where it all went wrong. I don't say that to scare you. I say it to wake you up. You have the power to choose. You can be the guy who drifts through life, or you can be the guy who takes the wheel. So where do you start? Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Pick one area of your life where you're not in control. Maybe it's your fitness, your temper, your work ethic. Make a small, specific commitment to improve it. If it's fitness, go for a 20-minute walk today. If it's your temper, practice that pause we talked about the next time you're triggered. If it's your work ethic, set a timer for 25 minutes and focus on one task without distractions. Start small, but start. Because self-mastery isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistent, intentional steps. And don't expect it to be easy. There will be days when you feel like you're failing. There will be moments when you doubt yourself. That's normal. The alpha male isn't the guy who never struggles. He's the guy who keeps going anyway. He's the one who falls 7 times and gets up 8. That's the mindset you need to adopt, progress, not perfection. Let's wrap this up with a challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to focus on one aspect of self-mastery. It could be discipline, emotional control, or even just being more present in your relationships. Track your progress, write it down, reflect on what's working and what's not. And if you're feeling bold, share your journey in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear how you're stepping up. Because here's the truth. The world needs more alpha males, not the loud fake ones, but the real ones. The ones who lead with purpose, live with discipline, and inspire others to be better. That's the legacy of self-mastery. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you found this valuable, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment below. What's the one area of self-mastery you're going to work on? Let's hold each other accountable. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and keep mastering yourself. Peace.